Dear Cosmo Babies, let's talk about transitioning from beauty school into the salon. I'm your host, Annie MacArthur, and I'm here with my co-host, Russell Mays, and let's get into it.
You know, this reminds me, I'm gonna go on a tangent here before we even get started. My very first day at Cosmetology School, I'm sitting there, and of course, you know, I'm sitting in the back with the cool kids, and the instructor is going around and it says, wants everyone to introduce themselves and what's your goal, you know, kind of get everybody riled up. And this one girl, she stood up and she said, my name is, you know, whatever her name was, and I aspire to be the best cosmopologist I can possibly be.
Oh no.
And of course, instead of just glazing over it, the teacher was like, well, it's cosmetologist, and I guess we'll learn that along the way. I'm just like, oh, it was rude. She was excited. You're just taking the wind out of her sails.
She was excited. It's,
Poor
you
girl.
know what? Not everyone starts off in this industry already knowing.
No.
Like, it
What
really
percentage
is
do you
such a
think?
place to learn.
What percentage do you think of people that actually go to beauty school have any clue what it's about?
5-10%.
Yeah, maybe.
20, depending on the area you live in.
Yeah. And most of that experience is what they got from when they went to the hairstylist or barber.
But now in the day of like this, you know, YouTube University, I think a lot more people think they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll learn that there's different ways to do stuff.
Yeah. And that's really, I think, the gift of beauty school is not only does it give you the knowledge of how to do it, but it gives you the physical practice of applying that knowledge to an unsuspecting guest that has extremely low standards and extremely low expectations.
Exactly.
So they cut you some slack.
Yeah.
All right. So in the beginning, what do you think when you graduate beauty school, which is a problem in and of itself? What's the first thing that you got to do when you get out of beauty school? What's the hardest thing?
I have different answers for this. I have different answers based off of my personal experience graduating school and trying to go find a job. And I have another answer based off of my years of experience in professional beauty and in the position that I work in today. So,
well, let's hear both of them.
my first answer based off personal experience is what I thought I was supposed to do was go send out my resume, go apply for jobs. I really wanted to be in an assistant program or like some sort of place where I could still learn and be in like a comfort of like safety in a salon and not just have to like be out on my own. So I thought it was just like handing out my resume, you know, hoping somebody would like what they saw and would want to take a chance on me.
And how did that do?
Not great.
Okay.
I definitely, I did not have the start to my career as wish I hoped it would have been. But I can't complain about it because it's where it got me today. And I love where I'm at today. But with all of the experience and the hardships and the amazing things that came from my career so far, and in the position I work in today, which I do part-time work in a salon, as a program director of an assistant program within a salon in the place that I live, I would tell kids while you're still in school, go into those salons and see if you can shadow. That is the first step to getting to the next place that you want to be. Go talk to them. See if you could just go in there and spend some time, see if you vibe, see if you like it, see if they're willing to even educate you before you even get a job there. See how you like it before you actually go and, you know, beg for a career there. Which I have a whole other conversation. Never beg for a job ever. You
know, I think that is, I think that's a really, really great idea. You know, because when I owned a salon for 17 years, and I would have people come in and they'd hand off their resume, and the first impression that I'm going to get is going to be based upon how you look, how you present yourself.
Yeah.
If you come in right after you've gone to the gym, that's not going to present well. Now, that doesn't mean you have to come in dressed to the nines like you're going to hang out with Beyonce, but know the environment with which you're going into And if it's a lax salon, then dress lax. If it's a high-end salon, then dress high-end. If it's all black, then go in all black.
Yeah, dress for the
Mirror the
job you want.
salon.
100%. I
Yep.
agree with that 100%.
And that makes a huge impression. And as soon as you walk in, like, oh, okay, who's this?
Yeah.
And then you have a resume, and just, you know, the resume is, I think, the least important part. It's just the minimal required effort that you have to have when you walk in. It gives me the idea, oh, she's looking for a job. They are taking it seriously, and they've prepared this. So I can see their history, what they've done, you know, and things like that. And I want to see some hair. I would like to see some hair. So with either an Instagram profile or some portfolio pictures, or I think Instagram is probably just the easiest. Just put it at the top, you know, next to your name and phone number.
Absolutely.
And I think that'd be a great first step to walk in.
Yeah.
Now, how do they research what type of salon that they want to see? How can they find a salon? Because I mean, you know, I'm in Orange County, and there's thousands of salons. How am I going to find a salon that I want to fit in and go work at?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the easiest way is, while you're still in school, start looking on Instagram. Obviously, we live in an Instagram world right now. Yep. You know, or if Instagram's not your platform, look on TikTok, look on whatever social media app that you like to spend time on, and see, one, if the salon you're looking for is also on those apps. If not, definitely go Google them, do some research, find out if they're on any social media. Because that's going to tell you if they don't have a social media presence, is that something that you are looking for in a salon? You know, so like I was saying earlier, never beg for a job. Don't go somewhere and be like, please hire me, please give me somewhere to work. Find a place that is going to fit you, because they're going to also value you in the end. If you beg for a job, you're probably not going to be very valued in that space. So if they don't have a social media presence, that's a great question to ask yourself if you even want to work there in the first place. So look on social, see what their presence looks like, see what their brand looks like online. And then, you know, start, either, if you're not comfortable just walking into a space, maybe send them a DM. Ask if you can come in to do some shadowing. You know, you're still a student, you'd love to come in, you'd love to check out the space, possibly maybe shadow with them for a couple of hours during the day to get a feel for what it's like working there. That is going to tell you how they're going to treat you in the future. Because, or, you know, whether they respond to the DM or go into the salon, ask that same question. Can I do this? Is this something that you offer? If you don't want to go in, call them on the phone. Ask that same question. Ask to talk to a front desk manager, a salon manager, the owner, or whoever. See if that's an option at all, because you are going to learn so much about the salon in that very first interaction. That's going to tell you if you even want to go in there and shadow. So then if you get past that point and you're having a good
rapport.
Thank you. If you're having a good rapport so far with the people that you're talking to, then go in, shadow for the day, get the vibe, talk to the other stylists. Are they willing to educate you as someone that doesn't work there?
Right.
Because if they are, that means you're probably going to get some good education as an employee. If they are not willing to educate you while you're there, and they're just either going to have you just show you around, or, you know, which isn't a bad thing either. Maybe you just are going in to tour the salon and to check it out. Maybe you're not shadowing or like volunteering or whatever for the day. But if you are there to shadow and help and work and like get a groove for it, you know, like, are they willing to educate you? Are they willing to answer your questions? Or do they just want you to stand next to them silently while they're working on a client? That's going to tell you a lot. Like, that's going to tell you so much about the salon space just in itself.
Oh yeah, the first interaction, you know, and how they interact with you and give you an overview and sell you on the salon, because it's a sales on both sides. You know, I'm trying to sell you on the salon. I'm trying to sell you on how great of a person I'd be to work with.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, there's really 3 avenues when I graduate beauty school. You know, the first one is to go and apprentice somewhere, which I think is probably the best for the majority of people.
Agreed.
If you can't find a good salon that offers quality education, and they just want you to stand there and sweep the hair and do the laundry, that's not going to learn you a whole lot. And you're going to be there for years with no progression.
Absolutely.
So if that happens, or you can't find a good place to apprentice, then go work at a quick service place.
Yep.
Where they work on 15, 30-minute haircuts and get your experience and get your hands into some hair and get experience that way. And then the other option is
just
to do your own
off
store.
of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Working at somewhere that offers like a fast-paced environment, like a franchise or even a mom and pop shop or something that is doing these like quicker services. One, you get a mess up. You get a mess up for a $12 haircut, and it really doesn't matter because you are learning. The other thing is that a lot of those places offer hourly wages. So you guaranteed a paycheck every day. And sometimes they offer healthcare, 401k benefits, retire. Like there are other things that are very beneficial from working in those type of places that offer so much security in the beginning of your career. And for some people, that is an amazing place to stay long-term.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest fear factors is going into a quick service salon where they just throw you right on the floor and doing hair, is the fear that you're going to do a client's hair, you're going to jack it up, and they're just going to freaking lose their head. They're going to lose their top and blow their cool and just yell and scream. And really, in beauty school, they have an expectation of a 0.5 on a scale of 10. When you go into a quick service place, they have an expectation of maybe 2. They just want the hair cut off because it's too long. I've not had, when I worked at like a really high-end salon in New York City, in Soho, and when I first started, they had 3 tiers. The bottom tier, when I started, the clients were the pickiest of all of them. The more I charged, the less picky the client became because they expected you to know what you were doing. And also I grew into that. I grew into the strength that was required to be able to handle a client that was giving me grief or giving me pushback, and I could handle it, and it was diffused before it even got started. So don't be afraid to go into a quick service place. Don't be afraid to be judged that, oh, you work at this place. Oh, that's beneath me. Then no, it's not beneath anybody. It works. It's still doing hair, and you're making a living doing what you want.
Absolutely.
Then if you can find a place, find a salon to assist. That's the best way. The third option that I would really shy anyone away from that may be thinking about it is going and instantly renting a chair.
Agreed.
Just because you were the best in school doesn't mean you're going to get out and instantly start making money.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. School is it's like
very
acting in high school. It's like acting in high school. It's not real life.
Yeah.
So just because you're the best in school, when you get out, doesn't mean anything. You're gonna work next to me, and I got 35 years of experience, and you just got out of school. It takes time to grow into that in numerous ways.
Yeah.
So,
but on the flip side,
yes,
it does work for some people.
Yes.
And some people need that option.
Yeah.
And so for me, like those are kind of the 3 breakdowns, like overall, like right out of school. Yeah. And I don't think any of those options are bad, but I would definitely tell some people to very much shy away from going and renting, because you are missing out on so many opportunities, not just like a factor of growth, as in like growing up into like these bigger and better salons, or depending on where you want to go in your career. But if you get stuck, there's probably no one to help you.
Yeah.
And there are so many other things that can get very crazy going straight into a rental, where I don't think a lot of students and brand new professionals even know, like, do you have the right insurance? Do you have the things that you need to protect yourself and your clients? And you probably don't even realize that you need any of it.
I worked with hairstylists for 15 years that when they went rental, they had no idea how much product they actually required for all the hair color that they were doing, how much retail that they were going to have, how much products that they used on their own station. They had no concept. They got to get a business license. They got to have insurance. They got to do all these things. And now they're like, oh my gosh, I have to do all this.
Yeah.
I just assume pay somebody to do it. Well, that's what you were doing.
Yeah. But for anyone that is listening to this, like I would definitely say, like, if that is the option that you want to do, feel free to go do that.
Yeah,
Like there is no wrong option of
correct.
going and doing and being a part of this industry. But what I
Correct.
would highly, highly advise is do so much research. Do so much
The
research and make
person,
sure that you
yeah,
are covered for everything
yeah.
that you need.
The person that thinks I'm going to go rent, my little salon suite or rent a chair right off the bat and is supremely confident with it, they know who they are.
Yes.
That's a small percentage that has to know with unwavering confidence that I'm going to be successful at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then go for it. Go for it. I agree with that completely.
Yep.
Completely.
And a great way to start to know and understand where is the best avenue for you, going and shadowing while you're sitting in school.
Yes. That brings us right around. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Like go, I can't recommend that enough.
Yeah.
Reach out to the salons, go and shadow within them in your community. Go to 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 100, like do it as much as possible and get to know them. So that way, when you are ready to go and hand them your little resume and you really want to be there, you've already gotten a vibe. You have a rapport with them. They already know if they want you there or not, because you've put in the work. Like when I hire somebody at the current salon that I'm at and we talk to them and do an interview with them, a huge part of that is the vibe. Like, are you going to fit in with our stylist? And if you've come in and you shadowed, we already know. We already know how the chemistry is. We know if you're going to be a good fit or not.
Yeah.
And it makes such a bigger difference on both ends,
So what advice would you give someone that walks into a store, has the right outfit, has the right resume, and walks in and has a good interaction with the salon owner or manager? Okay, we're going to give you a shot. Come in and shadow us on Tuesday, Wednesday. What should they do to make a great first impression?
Definitely show up ready to be in the salon, as in your physical appearance, and it doesn't always mean, like, obviously it depends on the type of person that you are, but sensible shoes are that's such a great way to go. Like if you're someone that wants to wear high heels every day, oh, bless you, because I definitely can't. But come in ready to stand there, ask questions, prepare yourself to learn, because building that rapport with whoever you're assisting with for today, and I'm using air quotes on assisting because you're there for free, you're shadowing. If a side note, if you go into a salon and they start having you work or touch clients or shampoo or clean, please don't go back to that salon, because they are abusing the system and they are probably not going to take very good care of you.
I'm raising my hand because I have a question. What if they were taking it as an opportunity to educate you about something?
I think as long as there is a point to it and that there is absolutely some education that is coming along with it, then that is one thing.
Okay.
But I myself have been put in the situation of when I was looking for jobs, I was free labor.
Yeah.
I have been free labor, and I always make sure that I will never do that to somebody else.
Right.
And I'm very grateful that the salon I'm in currently allows my voice to be heard when it comes to how we treat the assistants, because let's just be really honest, the salon industry, if we had an HR manager, we would all be in a lot of trouble. Unfortunately, that's just the way that it is. But, we really do have to look out for these kids. And there are so many people out there that take advantage of, these Cosmo babies that are coming in trying to get a career. And it's like, if you were learning something from the situation, that is one thing.
Yeah.
But in most states, and I live in the state of Washington, so the laws here, as well as I know California, because I live there as well, as someone who is not licensed in that state, you are not allowed to touch a client. You are not allowed to cut. You are not allowed to apply. You are not allowed to wash. And if you are going in and somebody is doing those things, that could be a red flag. Like you gotta kind of pay attention. But if you're asking good questions and they're answering and they're showing you and they're having you hold a section, that's a little different. That is teaching you, really valuable things on how to be an assistant in that space.
Right.
But if you're just going in and they're using you as free labor,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd walk right out that door, not go back.
Okay. Well, it depends on what kind of labor. If they want me to clean the toilet, yeah, maybe that's not the right spot for me.
Yeah.
But a shampoo, I'm okay with the shampoo.
As long as you're
Ridiculous.
learning something valuable.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You want to go into a spot that cares about the craft and cares about the next generation so that they can share their information and teach the craft to the next coming up.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of places that were very busy. They hire an assistant, they hire an apprentice, and they do a class once a week, if you're lucky. And then the
Yeah.
class is always an afterthought. And it's like, they put forth no effort because they're tired. And I get it. But that's my responsibility to you as an apprentice is I have to teach you.
Yeah.
I was lucky in that both my parents are in the business. My mom is a barber, my dad is a barber, and he went to cosmetology school. So he's a hairstylist as well. So when I started working, I had dad there that I could talk to all the time. Dad was great. And he was very intelligent and could articulate concepts to me in ways that I could understand. He was an excellent teacher. So I was lucky. And then not only that, but he was very well respected by a lot of other people in the city, in my town, Louisville. And so I could go to other salons for their apprentice classes. On Tuesday night, I'd go over to Tommy Callahan at Blades. And on Wednesday or Thursday, I'd go here. And so I had the opportunity to go jump in on these other classes. And so they all shared with me freely. So I feel a certain responsibility to share that back.
Absolutely.
So, when I have an apprentice, I try to take it seriously. Sometimes I don't do as well as I'd like, but I try to keep that, be mindful of that, not waste someone's time and not crush someone's dream more so than anything else.
For me, I think that's my biggest thing is that, part of the reason that I feel so strongly about going in and shadowing as a student, and whether you can, some schools will help you do that. Like they actually have programs set up at some schools where they will help you go and shadow so you can get the opportunity to work in salons. If your school doesn't have that, call around, go do it for yourself, go in there on your free days, because that is going to show that you want it so much more than another kid that is just, okay, well, I graduated, here's my resume, hire me.
Mhm.
It's gonna, the fact that you're showing up is going to make a huge difference.
But you can also go to seminars and classes and hair shows and talk to other stylists that are in the business and find who's working where. That's a good way in as well.
So another thing that to go along with shadowing is that when you do set it up, definitely set up a time frame as well. Because something else to keep in mind is that if you are going into a salon that offers an assistant program, they will have assistants there working. And so you are going in on a volunteer basis to kind of check it out, to vibe, to see, if it's something that would be a good fit for you and for them. So maybe set up a prearranged time, whether, that's 2 hours, that's 3 hours, that's a whole day. Ask before you go. And that way they know when you're going to come, when you're going to leave. Because you have to keep in mind, this is a business. Like they're taking clients, they're teaching their assistants, as well as now bringing you into the fold to teach you. And you definitely don't want to be there and step on any toes. But you also want to make sure that you get value out of it. So whatever feels good to you, maybe set that up with the salon owner, the manager before you ever go in.
Now, what are your thoughts on going on a really busy day versus a moderately busy day? Because do you want to go in on a Saturday and it's just like jamming and they don't have time to pay attention to you? Or would you rather go in on a Tuesday where maybe they got a little time to interact and shuck and jive and all that?
So this is why I say pre-set it up. Pre-set up the times and the dates with somebody. That way they know, because then when you go in, let's say you do go in on a Saturday because maybe you don't have school, or maybe you got out of school early and you want to go in and see what it's like on a really busy Saturday. Have that all set up so they know when you're leaving and coming and going and everything else. But then be like, hey, I really love this. Could I come back next Tuesday or Wednesday? And allow them, to say yes or no. But the more that you show up, the more they're going to remember you. And the more that you're there, and the better that you present yourself every single time. And I mean that in the asking good questions, knowing when to not ask questions, knowing when to help or to hold or whatever you're allowed to do while you're there. The more that you do that, the more they're going to already have that vibe with you. And we actually had, at the current salon that I'm at, we had a girl who came in and shadowed for 6 months, twice a week, every single week. It was a no-brainer that she had a job. Of course she did. We just basically put her through 6 months of a training program while she was still in school. Of course we were going to hire her. And she is amazing. And just a little shout out to my little Megan, because I love her so much. She is maybe a year out of school. I'm like, I can't even remember. She might be a year out of school as of right now. And where are we? Fall of 2020. Megan graduated, I think, in January. Megan is doing hair as a third-year hairdresser, not even a full year graduated. She is next level.
Yeah, I think that the old method of you coming in and assisting for 2 years, and then they give you 1 day on a salon and the behind the chair, and then once you build up, maybe they give you another day and then another day. I think that whole methodology is very antiquated and doesn't necessarily apply, especially to someone that really 100% applies themselves to the craft and the art and the things that they have to accomplish to be successful at doing hair.
Absolutely. And a lot of that, I think, is just the fact that, like with Megan showed up. Megan made it clear that she wanted to be there, you know, and then she kept coming back. And at one point we were like, do you just work here? Like, why aren't you just working here? And that's how it literally happened, was just that she was there, she was present, she applied herself. And you know, if there could be 1,000 Megans in the hair industry, that would be amazing. If we could all be Megans, I would, you know, we would be a different industry completely.
Now, not everyone can be that and shadow 2 days a week, and that's okay.
And that's
but just apply yourself in those moments when you can apply yourself.
Absolutely. And if that's once a month, that's once a month. But it means that you're doing it and you're
going.
But
it's even more so than that. It's not just going into shadow. It's I'm watching the education on YouTube, the free stuff on YouTube. I'm taking online content courses that are teaching me to be better at not only the technical, but also the business side of being in hair. And I have to apply myself and treat this, especially the first 4 years, 5 years of your career. You have to teach it. I have to look at it like it's college. It's not just 8-10 months of beauty school and then I'm done. That's the initiation step. Then you got to spend the next 3 or 4 years applying yourself and studying on your own.
Absolutely. And I think that is going to be the difference that sets people apart. You know, and that's why I'm like, I can't say it enough. Like, go in and shadow, go in and do that. Have a bomb resume when you do graduate, or when you are ready to hand over a resume for them and you want to do the ask. Like, here is my resume. Let's talk about it. I'd like to be here.
So let's think about that. What needs to be on a resume for the hair business? Because if I go in with a resume that's looking like I'm into administrative assisting, it's going to fall flat. So I don't want it to be too far out, on picture paper or something. And what did the girl in Legally Blonde do? She put perfume and glitter, so when you opened it up, it glittered.
Yes.
That's what they should. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I could go on and on and on all day about do's and don'ts on resumes, but the big takeaways for me that I have seen over my career that I would highly recommend would be: one, if you're going to send it via the interwebs, don't do it in a Word document or a Pages document. Put it in a PDF so it doesn't get all fudged up. And that way, whoever's getting it, they see it the same way that you created it. There are amazing things out there now that can help you build resumes, things like Canva. There are different platforms. Stay away from the Microsoft Word templates, because those are not for our industry. The things that salon owners are really wanting to see, and I don't take this just from my personal experience, but from other salon owners that I have talked to over my many years, you don't need to put your address. You just
Okay.
need to put where are you located in the same city?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it really doesn't matter. Like if you're applying at my salon, you're going to show up to work.
Mhm.
That's all I need to know is that you're going to work there. You need your name. You need a way to contact you, but that's going to be how you want to be contacted. Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to email you? What is your preferred method of contact? Put that on there.
Mhm.
If you care about both, put both on there. Put your phone number and your email address, but put your preferred method of contact. Um, like I said, don't put an address. That does not matter. Definitely put your social media handles on there. And again, whatever platform is of your choosing, whatever, if you're using TikTok or if you're using Instagram, if you're using Facebook, if you're a Twitter person, put those on there. Put the platforms that you are showing up for your preferred audience on your resume, because the first thing they're going to do before they ever call you is they're going to
Mhm.
stalk you online. They
Yep.
want to see what you've done. And if you haven't done a lot on social media, that's okay. Not every school teaches it. Not
Mhm.
everyone, there kids today that are coming up through cosmetology schools, they have been growing up on social media. It's
Mhm.
different than me and you, Russell, because we're kind of old now. But
I'm still
these
hip.
these these kids today, they do know social more than you and I ever did.
Right.
Like I have to
Exactly.
research constantly because it's something that's second nature to me. But if your social media presence isn't where you would like it to be, or your school isn't really teaching you how to show up on social media, or social media is just a little more difficult for you, one, link in bio, Scissor and Moth Social is a great place to take some online courses to learn about social media and how to have a social media presence and how to talk to the proper audience. But the other thing is at least have something so they know that you're trying, because social media today is your online portfolio.
Mhm.
That is the place that you're going to post your work, and that they're going to check it before they ever call you. They
Mhm.
want to see what you can do. And if there's nothing there, if it's a bunch of pictures of your dog or your kid or anything else, which is totally fine to have on there as well, in addition to your work, like you gotta have something. You gotta show them something. Um, so definitely have your social media handles on your resume. And then the advanced education that you've taken, like something that I can go on and on and on forever about, in addition to everything else I could talk about
Mhm.
for hours,
Mhm.
is taking advanced education during school. If you have the opportunity and you have the financial ability to do it,
Mhm.
definitely take those extra classes. That's going to set you apart from somebody else. It's going to show the salon owner that you really want to be whatever type of hairdresser it is that you want to be, by
Well,
having
it's
taken
showing
those advanced
intent.
classes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just showing that the intent is there is a lot.
Mhm.
And I don't know if schools talk about this or not, as much as I would hope that they do, but if you have an educator come into your school's homeroom class, or a free class that somebody offered, put that on there, because that is advanced education.
Mhm.
If you
Mhm.
listened and you learned and you took something away, put that on there.
Mhm.
Any advanced education that you had the ability to take, put it on your resume.
Mhm.
The things that don't matter anymore are like an objective. I know what your objective is. You want a job. You want a
Mhm.
job so you can make some money, so you can make people feel good, so you can make some
Mhm.
pretty hair, so you could,
Mhm.
XYZ to whatever your goal is.
Mhm.
Like that doesn't matter, you know. Take
So
objective right
whenever
off of the
someone,
resume.
oh yeah, yeah, no, I don't care. When someone come into me and gave me a resume, I would look at social, Instagram, if they had any kind of work on Instagram. I would look at where they went to school. And I didn't really care where they went to school. I just
Hmm.
wanted to know that they went through it and where they went, and that it was consistent and congruent. Like
Yeah,
it didn't take them, 5 years to go to beauty school, or they didn't go for 6 months here and then 6 months there. I want to see, intent that they went to beauty
consistency.
school, any kind of educational classes that they did, if they worked at a salon as a receptionist, anything like that was great.
Hmm.
Or any other industry that could transfer over well,
Yes.
put that on.
Yes.
It does not have to be some mind-blowing resume, because I know you're
No, it
just out of
doesn't.
school. I know it. All I want to see is intent and effort being put forth. That's all.
Yeah. The other thing that, and maybe you feel differently about this, Russell, but the other thing that I don't think is necessary on today's resumes for getting a job at a salon
Okay.
is if you worked at Taco Bell for 2 years, I don't care. Don't put that on there. It has nothing to do with the job that you're trying to get or the skills and ability that you need to work behind the chair with the client. You know, if you worked as a receptionist for a while and maybe
Yeah.
you were trying to get a job as a receptionist at the salon, hell yeah, that matters. Like, I know
Yeah.
that you can answer the phone
Yeah.
professionally.
Mhm.
You know,
Like I said, a job that would transfer well if I was the receptionist at a suntan hut, you know, where
yes,
someone comes in and they're doing sun tanning, or an optometrist. I was the receptionist there answering the phone and booking
Mhm.
appointments, things like that that can transfer well. Taco
Exactly.
Bell, it has a soft place in my heart, you know.
Who
'Cause
doesn't love Taco Bell?
I'm so happy they brought back the Mexican pizza. My life is complete.
I'm all about the vegan potatoes. Like,
Oh, do they still have those? I haven't seen those.
sometimes.
But so no, the Taco Bell doesn't matter on the resume.
Yeah. The other thing too, kind of going back to what you said about the consistency in school, if for the person that wasn't able to be consistent in school, because sometimes shit happens and
Yep.
we have to take a break.
Mhm.
And let's be honest, it's not an easy industry.
No.
And it's not an easy, like, cosmetology school is not easy for everyone to get through. It's pretty difficult for most
Especially
people.
if you're a little older.
Especially if
Mhm.
you're older. Like, if
Mhm.
you were older than 20,
Yeah,
it could be really
it's
difficult.
hard. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so if you did have to take a break, my advice to you would not be to put a time frame, but to be put, I graduated,
Yes. Yes.
2022.
Perfect.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything beyond, like, nobody needs to know if you took a break. But if you didn't take a break and you got right through it and you were
Mhm.
able to be consistent, go ahead and
Mhm.
put the start and finish dates,
Mhm.
especially if you got through school early. I
Mhm.
finished cosmetology school in 10 months because I wanted out. I was 26 when I went back to school, and I wanted so badly to start my career and start my
Mhm.
future. And so
Mhm.
I did every single extracurricular. I did everything to get all of my hours done on time and finished and get myself out of there going in my life. And so for some people, like, that's like a big deal for some people. So, like, hell yeah, put that on there.
It took me a while to get through beauty school. I went to 3 different ones. They
Oh
kicked me
man.
out of the first one. I quit the second one, and the third one, I finally finished it out. But that's a story for another time. Maybe next time we'll talk about it. So on the next podcast, I think we should cover what kind of questions that they should ask once they get there to shadow, and then where they go from there. So thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope this provided you with a lot of good content. And if you have any questions, please leave them below. Leave us a review on Apple iTunes and also on Spotify. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.